I do think the death of the idea of a civic category called the news or journalism is really insidious. Because like, let's say you sit around with your friends, okay? You're in a dorm room and you're just shooting the shit about the Illuminati or maybe the aliens built the pyramids or your political views or your views on gender, right?
Yeah.
Like that's one context and that's a perfectly fine context. Like people do that all the time. It's perfectly fine. People might say stuff that isn't true, not because they're lying, but because they're not professionals. Now, when you take that same conversation and you broadcast it to 40 million people or however many, all of a sudden you've got like a problem, which is that, you know, I remember when we first started having standards fact check our podcasts, I really had this initial impulse like, well, it's just a podcast. It's like, well, no, it's not just a podcast. You're saying things, you're making claims. We have to check in the transcript. They're true. And I do think that like the idea that there's this category of thing called the news where there's some set of procedures and some ethos, often, as you've pointed out in your book, like honored in the breach, right? There's all sorts of ways in which it falls apart. But there's at least an aspiration for something where like, we check this out, it's true.
Yeah.
And then there's a category of like shooting the shit with your homies, which is totally a great category of life, but it's just a different thing. And like the conflation of the two, I think is part of the issue here.